Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final week in review. Here we are for Module 8. All right, this is the big module, final closing module. So let's talk a little bit, kind of a little bit about last week, and then we'll talk about this week. So you just finished up, it's Monday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. You've just finished up Module 7, so that is yet to be graded. Module 6 is completely graded. Case studies are done. Now, again, make sure you are going back to the grade book. If there were a few missing case studies, some of you may have emailed those to me. I'm not quite sure. But what I'd like you to do, if you notice that your case study grade isn't in there, please go back to the Dropbox, which was in the course news. I'll show you in just a moment, and put that case study in the Dropbox just so I can find it. Again, you may have emailed it to me because I know I put that case study in the course news, a little bit different than what you're normally used to. In the future, I won't do that. Kind of threw some folks for a loop. But about 24 of you had it in the Dropbox, and a few of you it was missing. So if you notice you don't have a case study grade, but you turned it in or emailed it to me, just put it back. Make sure that's in that Dropbox. Again, send me a text, let me know, or any other missing items or late work, etc., that you are catching up on. Let me know that it is in the Dropbox or completed or wherever it needs to be in the course so I can go back and grade it, especially this week, our final week. Yay. All right, so that's pretty much it for modules 6. Well, one quick point here is I did put in the course, we'll move my picture off the side here. I did put in the course the I'll call them solutions, thoughts, random musings, whatever, for the case study. So go back and look at those. There's really, in some of these questions, there's no right or wrong answers. All I was looking for is that you kind of backed up your answers with analysis. So you had some thoughts and then analysis. All of you, the ones that I've graded, were really solid, great. We had grades. Pretty much everybody scored within the A range on this for the ones that I've seen, which are about 24 of them. Uh, so really great job there. Some of you were spot on with some of your answers about the case. It's kind of, I guess, what we could say if you. So there are some right and wrong answers to the case, but I guess the general flow. Some of you were very accurate with that. So great job with that. But again, I was looking just for did you what you thought, did you back it up with some analysis? And even if it was off track or maybe not exactly what we were looking for, you got the points. So as long as there was that analysis piece in there, you're looking real good. Again, everybody scored really, really, really well on that. But take a look. Those are some of my ideas about the solutions in there. I included kind of every one that I could think of. So even though you may have only needed to provide 5 answers, I may have like 9 or 10 in there in that, because some of you may be all over the board with what you perceived as some of the points with the case. All right, so that's the case study. All right, let's talk a little bit about our final week here in Module 8, and I'm making some changes. So hopefully you're watching this video so you know about the changes without finding out on Friday, when you open up a module or something and try to get everything done on the weekend. All right, so here's what we're doing. We've got our normal chapter kind of activities. We're doing planning and budgeting, which is really super important, especially the budgeting part for healthcare systems and for that mid-level manager. The budgeting process is really important. But so we have our normal readings and presentations. We have our learning activity this week. The learning activity will be another paper, and you'll be just doing about static and flexible budgeting. So let me go back to our module here. And then we have our final case study. I cut off one of the questions, so we're only going to have 4 questions. Remember, I'm looking for some thoughts and then analysis. In general, it's going to be 1 to 2 full paragraphs. You're going to probably run maybe 2 to 3 pages in general. Well, I did cut off one question, so you'll probably be 2 solid pages at least for this. And hopefully it's a little bit easier case than the last one. The last one was a kind of an everything. There was a lot going on in that case, which was kind of one of the problems with the case, is there was a lot going on with it. This one, more on cost allocation, which you've had some experience with now, and kind of four questions centered around that. Okay, all this is due Sunday by midnight. All right, let's take a look at the most interesting thing. Okay, so based upon I got some initial feedback from some students on the um, take home quiz, and that was they really liked that. So I thought, let's change it up. I know that you guys weren't really enamored with the quizzes, so I thought I would do something a little bit different for the final. So basically, you're going to get to design your own final. You get to pick the questions you want to answer. Now, I've given you a menu of 50 questions in here. Um, some of them are a little bit more complex than others. So I'm sure everybody's going to try to pick out, as would I. It's perfectly fair to do that. Pick out the ones that aren't so complex to fill up your 25 questions. But you get to pick. You get to pick 25 questions out of this list of 50 to answer. You're basically looking at a short answer or type of area, short answer to long answer. Some of them are only going to take one full sentence. Some might take up to five full sentences. I don't I don't see any of these extending beyond a nice, reasonable paragraph. So again, your quick wins. Medicaid, 1 to 2 sentences. Medicare, 1 to 2 sentences, and done. So those will be relatively quick ones. So yeah, you're going to have some longer ones, but don't think you've got 25 questions where you're going to have to do full paragraphs for each. All I ask is that you have nice, full, complete sentences for each. No APA required, no citations required. You're just going to list the question that you chose. Make sure you include the number. Let's just pick one, number 10. So you're going to write number 10. What is the goal of financial accounting? And then you're going to put your answer right below that. And then all this is going to be in a Word document, and you have until Sunday at midnight to turn it in. And this one is worth 200 points. So keep that in mind and make sure you do have that in. So hopefully this is something that appeals to you and brings back all of the concepts that we had throughout the entire course. Now, some of you, my guess is you'll probably choose questions from all over the 50. These are in roughly, not completely, roughly chronological order as we went through the course. So I think it's a good representation of kind of all of the essentials that we need to draw out of this course. So there you go. Design your own final. How great is that? Well, hopefully you like that. And it's something that it's going to take some work. There's no doubt about that. You've got 25, kind of long answer, short answer, or in between questions. So my recommendation is please start on this early. You could have this totally wrapped up by Friday if you wanted to, but please do take some time with that. Start early, work on it all week, and make sure you have it in by when? Sunday at midnight. Okay, so that pretty much concludes everything that we have in here. Let's go back up to our module. Double checking here. Everything looks good. All right, so with that, so hopefully you like the design your own final. If you have any questions, let me know. But I want to say it's been a pleasure having all of you in this course. You're one of the strongest cohorts I've ever seen come through. Fantastic interaction. The quality of the writing is really, really good. So I know some of you are just starting your programs, some of you are in the middle, and some of you are getting ready to graduate this spring. Um, but what was amazing is that I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell how far or at what point you were at. So usually the new students are a little bit rougher with the writing. In general, this class has had some of the strongest writing out there. And you say, Chris, why are you focusing on writing for an accounting class? Writing, communication is critical. When we look at the HCA program, one of our program learning outcomes focuses on communication, and a written and oral I think are absolutely essential for a healthcare administrator or whatever you're going to be doing with your healthcare career. You may have all of the business acumen in your brain. You may have all of that theoretical knowledge in your brain, but if you can't communicate that through, oral or written means, it does you no good and can be a really career limiting factor. So, but you guys seem like you've got the written stuff down. Um, and really great job with that. But I want to again congratulate you. I mean, when you think about what you've done, you've gone through the way this program, these courses are designed, and I'll speak about that just in a second. But basically, you've gone through half of this book, um, and this one. Gapinski, I mean, this is the standard. He just died, by the way. So he just died. But this is the standard in healthcare administration. This is a classic textbook, even though you may not like it. This is kind of the Bible. Um, and his co-author will be continuing the book because I made sure because I wasn't going to use the book unless the co-author was going to use that, continue on. So in the second part of this kind of I guess two-parter is the finance. Some of you have already had the finance with me in a little bit different format, but if you are continuing on with finance with me in the second 8 weeks, we'll be going through the second part. I think you'll like finance better. I mean, accounting is more of the language, and then finance is kind of the application and the fun stuff about how you figure out whether you're going to lease or buy a scanner or make capital decisions or staffing levels and such. So I think that's a little bit more exciting, sometimes a little bit more real world because now you're using the accounting information to make decisions. We had a little bit in this course with the decision making. By the way, some of you did a really great job with ratio analysis, even though we didn't hit a lot on that in the text. You made a real good attempt at that with the case study, so great job on that as well. But we're really going to hit on ratio analysis. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. But ratio analysis in our finance part, if you're continuing on with me for the next 8 weeks, which I hope a lot of you are because you're a great, great class. All right, that pretty much concludes the week in review. Remember, if you have any questions, let's try to get them wrapped up. I know I get about 30 texts a day and about 110 emails on average a day, but just keep on out there until we get your issue solved to get everything wrapped up, especially for missing grades. I have to get grades in by Sunday or by Monday morning. You'll be on spring break, but by Monday morning, I have to have grades in by before 11:59 a.m. I have to have grades in. So I might be tracking you down for some reason if I can't find something that makes a consequential difference. Obviously, I'm not going to track you down. Let's say if you're missing 10 points, I'm not going to track you down for that if you've already gotten an A. Doesn't make a difference. You've got the A, move on, we'll lock it in and move forward. But if I'm looking at your grade book and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're only 15 points away from me awarding you a B or an A, and I'm missing a particular assignment, be sure as heck, I'm going to try to track you down to make sure, can we find that assignment? I'll double check my emails. I'll be looking in various drop boxes to make sure that we get you to that point. And just last thing about the case about points, the extra credit, don't forget about that. That's out there. If you want to do it, just make sure it's in the Dropbox by Sunday at midnight. All right, again, it's been a pleasure having you in the class, and as always, thanks for watching.